Before I ask you to make your opening statement, I would just ask you, I'm aware of your particular legal proceedings. You're invited to appear in the capacity to respond to elements concerning this bill and this inquiry. So I would just not ask you to make any particular adverse reflections in relation to that particular matter. I know you hold that's a very passionate issue for you, but I would just ask that you be very aware of the issues in relation to adverse reflections.
Thank you, Chair. My statement just gives a bit of context to that legal matter and why I think this bill is deficient in not covering that. So if I can, I've got a 1-minute statement if that's okay.
Thank you. Just if you can take on board my request. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to appear today. I'm being sued by 2 LGBTIQ+ drag queens for saying they are dangerous role models for children. My religious beliefs motivated me to speak up after a drag queen story time in a public library. One drag queen was a woman identifying as a man, the other a man identifying as a woman. The woman was crowdfunding on Facebook to have her breasts cut off. The man's drag name referenced a homosexual sex act. After writing a blog about the dangers of these role models to children, I was sued under Queensland's vilification
Mr Shelton,
laws.
if I could just ask you to refer to that dispute in general terms, rather than making adverse reflections on the other parties in those proceedings.
Sure.
So if you could just skip over the...
Not willing to be adverse, just stating the fact. But yes,
well,
we'll
well, that's my judgment is that there is some adverse reflection. So if I could just ask you to speak in general terms and not specify issues which are at issue in those legal proceedings, please.
Thank you. In my view, the deficient laws is allowing the shutting down of speech that people don't like using taxpayer-funded lawyers. The case has so far cost me $70,000 in legal fees and almost 2 years of angst. Despite warnings during the marriage plebiscite that this would happen, the bill before you today does not protect those who are speaking up to protect children. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr Shelton.